Mark Harmon's Gibbs had several proteges in NCIS, but his most peculiar hire may finally be returning because of the 1000th episode's deaths. Gibbs' leadership impacts the NCIS team, with new agents rising under his guidance, including Ziva David, who was his oddest recruit. NCIS 1000th episode focuses on revisiting the deaths of Caitlin Todd and Tom Morrow, which were both tied to Ziva, suggesting her involvement in the current case. Ziva's return in the 1000th episode can also set up her spin-off with Tony, currently titled NCIS Europe. NCIS 1000th episode deaths set up the return of Leroy Jethro Gibbs' most peculiar protege. Throughout his stint in the agency, Gibbs was unwavering in his commitment to his job. That being said, his effectiveness in the role was directly impacted by the squad that he was spearheading. There were several personnel changes in his team due to several factors, including actors departing NCIS. This prompted the arrival of replacement characters, and since Gibbs was hands-on with the decision-making process, he often chose which agents would join his elite team of special agents. Aside from Polly Perret's Abby Sciuto, David McCallum's Ducky Mallard, and Brian Dietzon's Jimmy Palmer, all other members of the core NCIS team developed under Gibbs' tutelage. From Michael Weatherly's Tony Donazo Jr. to Wilmer Valderrama's Nick Torres, each one looked up to Harmon's character for guidance. That being said, Gibbs' oddest recruit remains to be Cote de Pablo's Ziva David, simply because of how unique her path was to joining NCIS. Starting as a Mossad liaison agent, she won Gibbs' trust by actually saving his life. Still, it took years before she became an official member of the agency. Caitlin Todd and Tom Morrow's NCIS 1000th episode death cases set up Ziva's comeback. NCIS 1000th episode will revisit Todd and Morrow's deaths. Titled 1,000 Yards, CBS has released the NCIS 1000th episode trailer, which offers an idea of what's to come to Special Agent Alden Parker and his team. The whole agency is under attack by an unknown foe who happens to know their long history. The clip reveals that the squad will revisit the deaths of Secret Service-turned-NCIS agent Caitlin Todd and former NCIS director Tom Morrow. They died several years apart, although Morrow resigned after Todd was killed, while the agency was handling two different cases. That being said, both murders have unique ties to Ziva. If Tim McGee and his allies are revisiting both deaths, Ziva's involvement can fill narrative gaps and help them figure out who is currently targeting NCIS in the 1000th episode. Todd was killed by Ari Haswari, Ziva's half-brother, whom she killed to save Gibbs' life. This earned her the often suspicious Gibbs' trust and paved the way for her to join his squad. Meanwhile, Morrow was murdered by CIA turncoat Trent Court, who was framing MI6 agent Jacob Scott for his crimes. Scott reached out to Gibbs about clearing his name, claiming that Ziva, through her late father's papers, can prove his innocence. If Tim McGee and his allies are revisiting both deaths, Ziva's involvement can fill narrative gaps and help them figure out who is currently targeting NCIS. How Ziva's NCIS 1000th episode return impacts NCIS Europe. Ziva and Tony will be on the run across Europe in their new show. Gibbs will likely not return in NCIS 1000th episode, but while that's disappointing, Ziva's comeback not only makes more sense for its narrative, but it can also set up her upcoming spin-off. After Weatherly's cameo as Tony during Ducky's tribute outing, it was announced that he and Ziva would star in a new expansion series currently nicknamed NCIS Europe. Considering the franchise's penchant for backdoor pilots, Ziva's potential involvement in the 1000th episode story can directly lead to her and Tony's crisis in their show. In any case, Weatherly has also previously teased DePablo's return to the mothership show.